Hey everyone, just wanted to do a quick video on some reactions to the Module 12 discussion. So overall, I really appreciated the thoughtfulness of that case, the hard ethical case with the group member disclosing information about another in the breach, and we're not exactly sure how the breach occurred, but we kind of have some clues to it. So anyways, a few thoughts that I had. Some of this will be connected to what was already spoken, but just wanted to add a few thoughts. I just really wanted to speak to pre-screening clients uh, and participants for groups. So that's essential for a lot of different reasons to obviously ensure goodness of fit, but also just to like be able to start to introduce the concepts of confidentiality, of just basically starting that informed consent process, helping the participants understand what the group's about so that they're ready for it when they're there. Uh, so obviously, informed consent isn't just like a paper you sign and it's done, as we've talked about in the discussion board, but it's a continual process that goes throughout the entire sequence of the group. And I really hope that some of you mentioned the Wellfill article that, or it talked about how confidentiality is often really important to address right after, like maybe an especially emotional or intense session, is to remind the group, hey, remember that confidentiality is really important to be able to maintain trust here. So some significant things came up today, and just wanted to remind you all to make sure you're keeping confidentiality. So something that simple can be a way of circling back to informed consent when it's relevant and applicable. I just wanted to acknowledge that I had some mixed thoughts of how I'd respond to this. I'm not sure all the way yet. I would most likely, as my norm is, need to get more information before finalizing my decision. But I'm not sure if I would address Alex and Jordan's like separately outside of the group. Part of me is like, yes, absolutely. I think that's a good idea to have an individual one-on-one session with each of them just to kind of check in. And the other side of me though is like sometimes groups there can be this splitting occurring. So like if we start to have conversations with particular members outside of the group environment, we'd have to be pretty clear about what that conversation entails and why we're doing it, because we can't sometimes the person meeting with you might want you to keep the secrets that they choose to share there about the group. So then like it's starting to like, okay, so you're starting to have multiple confidences. So the group, supposed to be there for that group, but then individuals are saying, hey, I want to just talk with you one-on-one, but not in the group session. So it can start to be kind of pulling you and almost like having alliances or triangulation can start to occur. So I would be really cautious of splitting. I think in this situation, because it's due to confidentiality, it's due to the ethics, that the one-on-one conversations are probably just fine. But my mind did go to that splitting area, so I just wanted to name it here. Uh, and I, I hope that it's clear that both Jordan and Alex are struggling right now. Obviously, Jordan's been betrayed and feels that strongly at that point. Uh, But Alex is also like really struggling. So I'm not trying to say that his disclosure to the mutual friend was okay, but it just means that he's working through something that he's really struggling with. So, maybe it still would make sense to have him leave the group. Maybe he's not ready for the group experience. So maybe it's the best for the group as well as best for Alex to be done with the group experience. But hopefully there can be at least one final session to like try to like kind of navigate it as a group. That's kind of my belief, I guess. I'm not saying everyone has to think the same way, but is to try to have some closure to like circle and circle back to those conversations whenever possible is often really helpful. Uh, so that's where I'd kind of lead us to like hopefully have one more, and then we can kind of gauge, okay, does Alex get the severity of this? Does it kind of help Jordan to have one final conversation? Maybe she's like, okay, maybe I can try to trust again here. So I think we'd be able to gauge, how to respond exactly in the end by how those conversations went. Uh, and like many of you said, maybe many of you would meet individually first and then want to meet and like have everyone, Jordan and Alex and the rest of the group there all together again, which can be totally fine. But I think through those conversations, the individual conversations as well as the next group session would really help inform, okay, is the group ready to move forward together? Is Alex ready to stay in the group? Is Jordan ready to stay in the group? Are others maybe really concerned? Like this in fact impacts the entire group. They might all be concerned about, okay, if I share anything now, how can I trust anything that it'll stay here? Uh, So yeah, just a little bit of thoughts there. I'm looking through my notes, seeing if there's anything else. Uh, some of you maybe this is where I'll end. Some of you maybe implied, that might be a little too strong, but that like kind of getting the group to decide if Alex should stay in the group or not. And I would kind of caution against that. Like they can all process it, but ultimately, like it's our responsibility to really make some final decisions. I'm not trying to say that we just need to make the decision regardless of how the group feels. Like it can be important to like kind of to talk about things, but ultimately it's just like it's not like let's vote and you'll go with the vote. No, not necessarily. It's not really about voting. Like part of our responsibility is to like use our knowledge and about group dynamics to make the judgment call of whether it's a good fit or not, and to consider the ethics. So participants might not always have that information and that background. They usually don't. So I just wanted to really name that sometimes we just have to really kind of own up to the responsibility and make the final decision. So, anyways, those are a few thoughts. So happy to follow up and chat about this more if that would be helpful. Thanks.